Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy day to join me. I really appreciate that. I really, truly do. And right now, I'm looking at my little notepad here because I've been using my mind to think about all different kinds of ways to grow the channel and stuff. And this is just a quick sidebar. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the world of Vlogs About Nothing, where the host constantly forgets what he's talking about. It's all non scripted in just one take, so there is that. I gotta give myself a little bit of room for error. But nonetheless, this is what we do every single night, every single day, 4 streams. If you're new, and you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. Definitely be sure to share, this content with your bestie. You feel me? And all right, so I want to talk about this is just a straight up old school impromptu vlog, which I feel like I haven't done in a little bit. Maybe I have, who knows? You make a lot of videos in one day. I guess four isn't a lot, but I mean, if I do the math, sometimes it is because the videos are like 10 minutes a piece, and then it's like times four, and then I'm like, oh wow, 40 minutes of content, But I think that people are staying up later. Now, this is all inconclusive. I know nothing about what I'm about to talk about in terms of this is, again, just yeah, coming from my little mind. Anyways, I feel like people are staying up later. And I've not looked up this. I mean, I'm sure maybe there's articles or maybe it's a trending thing. Who knows? I do nothing, so I know nothing. But regardless, I just feel like people are staying up later. I feel like this because, well, I guess my hypothesis is that the weather's changing and that there's more people that are young who are engaged in a social life that is, not always revolving around the old school method of let's open up at 10 and close at 10. And I say this because the world's ever changing, right? And even 20 years ago, people probably could have made the argument that like everything must close now, the business won't make any money, everyone's asleep. But like I find as a middle-aged, aging, older, white haired faced man that like people like, especially like millennials, even like older millennials like myself, and just Gen Z's and alphas, like they don't have the same schedule as boomers. And I just don't feel, again, that like I think people are, and Gen Xers, I feel like people are staying up later. And again, I honestly think it's because, again, it's the shift, right? It's the shift in there's no more like traditional 9 to 5 work day. You graduate from college, like this whole world that, was a thing in the 80s and 90s. It's just, that's just not a thing anymore, right? And so it's interesting because I feel like there's a need for business to remain open 24 hours a day. And I know insurance companies and, short staffed law enforcement agencies aren't going to like hearing that. But I'm sure, private security and private business owners would just absolutely embrace the idea when they finally figure it out, that people don't follow the old school method of being awake anymore. I seriously think that if people, like, if it were up to us, which sometimes it is in terms of like our schedule or allocation of time or whatever, like, we'd rather be awake at night and sleep during the day anyway. You feel me? In terms of just like, I mean, I'm pretty sure people refer to it as climate change, global warming, or whatever. I'm from the high desert, so I know that I don't particularly enjoy a hot, sunny day out in the desert in the middle of summer. I know this isn't on the top of my priority list. And so, like, I would rather sleep during the day, honestly. If if I don't have like the luxury of like working in an air conditioned place, which, again, true story, in the working men's world, we often discuss how nice it is to have the luxury of, being at a desk job, as we would call it in the guy club, and have that air conditioner instead of outside digging ditches. I've done both, trust me, for my whole life, and I'm not a fan of the digging ditches part. You feel me? Nobody is, and the people that are, good for them. That's great. Seriously, like more power to them. But like most people, yeah, it ain't about that. And I'm just being honest, right? So it's sort of like I always ask myself, why aren't businesses open 24 hours a day? And then I just, satirically remind myself that insurance agents don't like that, and neither insurance companies don't like that. I guess from all the aggregate data they collect from people's behavior 40 years ago, I'm not sure who's making these decisions anymore. Is like, okay, which claims adjuster, which they're called something. I forget what they're called, but nonetheless, regardless, I'm just saying, insurance is antiquated at best. I'm just saying. Anyways, but I do think about these things obviously a lot, right? Because one, I'm a business person, and two, because I'm also a consumer. You feel me? And it's sort of like, as a 36-year-old man, I can't imagine how frustrating it would be to be like a 20-year-old person, not being able to find something to eat past the hours of 10 because I just got out of my job that I'm working because I'm a student in school, and now there's nowhere to eat. And my parents are asleep, and I can't go wake everyone up just to make some food, nor do I want to because I just ate. You feel me? Like, I can't imagine that problem. Like, I mean, holy potatoes. I'd be right on trying to open a business right from midnight to 8 a.m., which between all of us here on the channel is something that eventually I want to do and that we will do. Is we have an entire business plan that revolves around that very concept. And so, again, wouldn't you know, right? Like, there's a problem, here's a solution. The problem is places closing too early. The solution is staying open or just not even opening during the day. I mean, how do you like that one, insurance people? You feel me? How about we just don't open it all during the day? We only stay open in the dead of night. You feel me? And I guess we'll definitely hire our own private security since we know, in a dark humor kind of a way, that cops are unfortunately not being treated like they should, I guess, and also not being staffed like they should be in towns all across America. This is a thing, right? And it's because cops kind of didn't have a good reputation there for a little while, ups and downs. But I've never said anything bad about a cop. I have nothing bad to say about a cop in terms of it's never, cops in general that are the problem or anything like that. It's just sometimes bad people become cops. But again, nonetheless, I just feel like we're even talking about this sidebar because it does impact local law enforcement, obviously, more from an insurance perspective and a societal perspective because, in the middle of the night, again, your boomers and your Xers aren't used to, shop being open at that time. There's rules. And, again, but some rules are meant to be challenged, right? If anything, if the challenge results in things breaking, then that's just sort of the byproduct of challenging something. You feel me? But definitely young culture and millennials, like where you at in terms of like, am I the only person in their mid 30s that feels like things should be open a little bit later, and that like a person should have the opportunity to socialize acceptably at a later time? You know what I mean? Like, I'm from the generation, oh my goodness, I just said that still has rules about when it's okay to take calls. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, have you been in the era of cell phones? The cell phone is not a landline. And if you understand this analogy, then you're just too old already. Because if you don't, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's sort of like, you call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't mean I'm going to answer because I might not be awake, but hey, there's a 50-50 chance that if you hit me up at 2 a.m., I'm going to answer the phone. You feel me? Just because, like, the phone rang and somebody called me, and I'm not going to be like, why are you calling me at 2? Like, well, because that would make me sound super old. And then, again, it's just not a societal norm anymore. People, like, unless they're explicit about it, and, I know that sometimes I am, and again, I recognize that I'm getting old, but like that's an old person thing to do. Like seriously, seriously. If you again, if it's you know, if it's a business number, it's different, right? Which I guess young people can understand in that way is that like typically maybe now still the businesses they work in have phones, and those phones are the ones that customers call and so forth or whatever. But again, it's just like things should be open all the time. People stay up later, and I don't think it's a societal norm anymore to have rules when it comes to when it's okay to call people. Just again, because everyone's schedule is so sporadic, and like, if you're young, obviously, you know what I'm talking about, but I can understand too if you're old and, don't want to be hit up. Like, but and again, I get it. It's like people different things. You feel me? If I'm a married couple and I'm in my mid 60s and somebody's hitting me up, I mean, I would still answer. I don't know, like why is somebody calling me at 2 a.m.? But I probably wouldn't still be asleep at that age anyway. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I think people stay up later, so that's all. I mean, we're talking about nothing here on Vlogs About Nothing. So I hope that we fulfilled that requirement. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. The channel has so much more potential and growth for our future, and trust me, I'm busy, I'm busy thinking of more nothing for this channel about nothing constantly. You feel me? And so I hope that shows, I think that it does because again, engagement has been up in a way that I'm really happy about, and I'll reiterate this on the next video when I open in case you don't get too far into this video, which is going on 12 minutes now. But I appreciate all of the, the new views and all of the interactions, and um, there will be other cool stuff coming up. I had something, I was going somewhere really cool with that, but then I forgot because I'm trying to think about the next video. So I will talk to you guys very shortly, okay? Thanks again for watching, all right? Bye.